The 12 key moments that gave DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud their first win and the Texans their first dub heading into JJ Watt week. Let's react in the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do.
Welcome to the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Texans get a dub. Few and far between, but the Texans get a dub in Jacksonville. Jacksonville falls to 1-2. Texans got the same record. And there were some key moments that decided this that I want to relive as Reaction Monday does begin. DeMeco Ryans going to speak today at 2:30. We're going to have a player join the show live at Thursday. So right along on the Odyssey app, Sports Radio 610, and right here, number one source for Texans digital content. Certain moments decide games. And if this would have happened, then maybe this and this and this wouldn't have happened. I think there were 12 moments in this Texans-Jacksonville game, and maybe even more. You could make a case maybe 13 or 14. But 12 that I think decided the game and were kind of like pivotal turning points, if you will. Key moment number one, to the Jags' inability to take advantage of the Texans' early slop. The Texans, they haven't been known for coming out very strong and fast starts, and they really didn't very, very early, the first two possessions on Sunday. Mike Boone, first play of the game, kickoff. He brings it out instead of taking the knee. Texans get the ball on the 13 instead of the 25. They end up punting, and then you have the fair catch interference or whatever that gives the Jags an extra 15 yards. That's 27 free yards that the Texans gave the Jags. Special team sloppiness. Fortunately for the Texans, unfortunately for the Jags, they missed the field goal. They're unable to take advantage of that, and no harm, no foul. So that was an opportunity for the Jags to give the Texans some sort of consequence for their sloppy start. Unable to do that. Great teams do that. Mediocre or overrated teams don't necessarily do that, which when it comes to putting the Jags in the top tier of the AFC, I think the reality is they're not there yet. And they're not a team that deserves to be a double-digit favorite at home. I think Las Vegas told us that throughout the week. They're right there. They're in the AFC South battle. They're not up here looking at Kansas City and Buffalo. They're right here in the AFC South. They might be in the bigger version of the kiddie pool, but they're in the kiddie pool with the Texans. Key moment number two, the Tank Dell bomb from CJ Stroud. Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator, did a nice job of going from wrestling to track. That's what I call it. Little fight in the trenches, and then show off the speed. Hard-earned yards from Dameon Pierce, set up 46-yard bomb to Tank Dell down to the 1-yard line. Texans take advantage of Jacksonville's missed field goal. They take a 7-0 lead. Key moment there was the throw to Tank Dell. Key moment number three, Jacksonville. A lot of times you talk about coaches setting the tone, and this coach showed his team that he believed in him by going for it. I roll my eyes at that quite often because I think it's weird because people say that whether they get it or not. If they move the chains, it's he showed him that he believed in him, and if they don't, it's he showed him that he believed in him still. I think it's kind of a have your cake and eat it too type of mindset. However, I was surprised personally, as someone who's watched Doug Peterson coach for a long time, and as someone who just kind of watched the way that the game had shaped up early, that the Jags on the 4th and long 2 or 4th and 3 elected to kick the field goal instead of go for it early on, especially given the fact that you just missed a field goal, given the fact that the Texans had scored a touchdown. Thought it was interesting that Doug Peterson elected to go for the field goal, but he did. Will Anderson blocks the field goal, and the Texans take over with a 7-0 lead. Key moment number 4, the response after the blocked field goal. You immediately had CJ Stroud going to Robert Woods. He moves the chains. 3rd down, Tank Dell. He moves the chains. And then Brevin Jordan. Didn't know if Brevin Jordan was going to be on this team. I thought it was interesting that CJ Stroud, at his first media availability, he mentioned Brevin Jordan. Jordan, unable to stay healthy during training camp. They didn't even hesitate whether or not to keep him. They keep him. And this week I said, leading up to the game, this could be the Brevin Jordan game. It seems like they like Brevin Jordan. They like to use him. And I'll be damned, Brevin Jordan finds the end zone for the first time since his rookie season. Texans take a 14-0 lead. The response after the blocked field goal, capped off by the Brevin Jordan touchdown. Key moment number 4. Key moment number 5, Calvin Ridley. What the hell was he doing out there? Couple of false starts, couple of drops. The Texans on third down have Shaq Griffin go out. He appears to be favoring his shoulder. Seemed like he was kind of favoring his shoulder on the play before that. He leaves the field. Fortunately, he came back, ended up with 10 tackles. But Calvin Ridley, even when he's making plays, he's not. He moves the chains, or appears to. However, there's a flag. Illegal hands to the face. So Jacksonville's attempt to cut it to one possession with getting the ball in the first half, that gets eliminated, and they have to punt to the Texans. However, the Texans punt it right back. Jacksonville appears to be on track to going to decrease that lead. However, key moment number 6, Eric Murray forces the fumble, and the Texans have a 14-0 lead. And if they want a 14-0 lead heading into the half, it appears the Texans could have had that. But DeMeco Ryans has said the team's going to be aggressive, and I'll be damned if the Texans don't decide to be aggressive. They throw the ball to Tank Dell on the sidelines, 3rd and 6. Tank Dell initially called incomplete. After review, complete pass. Texans looking to extend their 2-possession lead to 3 possessions. Nico Collins down inside the 20. Looked like he might have stayed up too long. Fortunately, he goes down, 2 seconds left. Texans timeout, field goal, 17-0 lead at the half. So key moment number 7, Slowick's decision to be aggressive, up 14-0 and extend the lead to 3 possessions. Key moment number 8, the Jags' response. Even when the Jags are putting points on the board for the first time, and it appears that they might be building some momentum, they're still very sloppy. You had a drop pass, and then you had another penalty. They threw the ball in the end zone. Jimmy Ward and Calvin Ridley going at it. Penalty ends up getting called on Jimmy Ward, probably the right call. Jimmy Ward didn't really argue it, but Jacksonville scores their first touchdown. Travis Etienne, a big part of things. Tank Bigsby robs him of the touchdown. No fantasy owners of Travis Etienne not thrilled about that. But the Jags cut the lead to 17-7, and they end up cutting it to 17-10. And you start to wonder, is this going to be the same old Texans? Are the Texans going to melt down here? But the tension immediately gets eliminated. It appears it's going to be kind of a little Giants, bad news Bears type of moment. Andrew Beck goes back to catch the field goal. Mike Boone runs into him. The ball's wobbling around, and then Andrew Beck cuts up the sidelines, and the Texans the offense doesn't even have to respond to the 1-possession game, because Andrew Beck gives the Texans a 24-10 lead and kind of some breathing room. And you start to wonder, okay, is this just the Texans' day? Is this just one of those days? And the answer to that would be yes. Key moment number 10, Blake Cashman with the interception. I think you should watch Jimmy Ward. Any film watchers or any fake film watchers out there, I don't pretend to be a film watcher, but watch first down of this series. I think it's pretty pivotal. Jimmy Ward calls out what the Jags are going to do. Trevor Lawrence immediately throws the ball underneath. Jimmy Ward with the immediate tackle for a moderate gain. And then on third down, Blake Cashman. Don't want to say it was addition by subtraction with Denzel Perryman being out and the Texans linebackers being able to move more sideline to sideline. But Blake Cashman with the interception, that's key moment number 10. Key moment number 11, and you could really go either way on this, because there was a Nico Collins drop that could have been huge after this, but the Texans ended up responding nicely. But key moment 11, Christian Kirk TD cuts it to 27-17. Kind of thought you needed the Texans to kind of with the 27-10 lead, at least make the Jags, run the clock a little bit. But they get the quick strike to Christian Kirk. You immediately wonder, okay, is this going? You're wondering again. I mean, you've watched a lot of losing football, a lot of meltdowns with the Texans. Is this going to be it? You had the Nico Collins drop as well. Could have been a low pass, whatever you want to say. But the Jags unable to capitalize. And then key moment 12, the Texans 68-yard touchdown to Tank Dell. that was kind of the end of it. And those are the 12 moments that shaped up the Texans win and the Jags loss. Two biggest takeaways. Number one, you're allowed to play bad football even when you have injuries. I think dismissing the Texans' performance against Indianapolis and just charging it to injuries, I think that was lazy. I believe D'Amico Ryans is a good coach. I think D'Amico Ryans kind of showed, that his team can have that Mike Vrabel, Mike Tomlin type of fight, even when things it appears that they're fighting upstream. Also, the Jags, double-digit win team in Las Vegas, 10.5. That was high. Double-digit favorite at the start of the week. That was high. That's why the money came in on the Texans, and the Texans get the dub. Those are the 12 moments that shape things up. Tonight after Monday Night Football, we'll get the localized view of what's going on with the Texans videos throughout the week. No matter what happens when it comes to the Texans, we're all in this together. Reaction Monday coming up shortly. Appreciate you for riding along. We're all in this together when it comes to the Texans. Appreciate you.
Hey, locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in